A lilac is a really great flower to paint as a beginner. So I'm starting with a smaller round. This is a number 4 round. And I'm going to start at the tip. And as we move down the cluster of flowers, it'll get larger and larger. So you'll see on my palette, I've got a little bit of cobalt blue and some alizarin crimson. Those two make a really lovely purple, but I also have Winsor violet because I like to take shortcuts, so you'll see me use that quite a bit. I'm going to start at the tip of my cluster, and I'm going to make 2 clusters of flowers, or you can just do 1. And I'm holding my brush at an angle so that I can get the tip and angle it to make some little pointed shapes. These are just little ovals, just little scribbly ovals. You can warm it up by adding more of your red or alizarin crimson. And you'll notice that I'm making some of the ovals touch. I'm going to add some more cobalt blue and let's cool it down. That'll make that purple hue lean a little bit cooler. And these are forgiving flowers because they come in clusters. So you might have some areas that are sticking out more than others. You can add your warmer colors, pop them in a few areas. I don't like to keep a row of ovals. I like to make some down and some up. So just the key here is variation. Lilacs are clusters of flowers that have 4 petals, typically 4. So you can even start to paint in those little clusters. If you're using a small brush like mine, you're going to have to go back into your paint frequently because your brush can only hold so much water. Another thing I like to do is see my paint is starting to dry. In some areas, I'll sort of squiggle my brush and I'll softly blend some of those edges together. We get to the bottom and we're going to start putting in our leaves. I'm going to add a darker value, so I've got some cobalt blue and some Winsor violet, and I'm just going to mix it up and drop it in while that paint is wet, and it will just expand. Not everywhere, just a few areas. Let's grab some more purple. Drop that into, almost like there's a shadow. So if you look at lilacs or photos of them, you'll see that there's darker areas and lighter areas, and a lot of that is depending on where the light is hitting, where the shadows are. So just pop a few dark colors in a few areas and you'll get that shadowy look. Now, while everything is still damp, we can start adding in our leaves. So I mixed up some cobalt blue with some yellow, and I'm just going to make my stalk move up into my flower, and they are brown because it is a branch, but for now we'll leave it green, and sometimes there's a second branch that comes up. I'm going to skip over some flowers and just slightly put in these skinny little green lines. These are the stems of all of these tiny flowers. Now grab some more paint and take the tip of your brush, pull up, push down on the belly, and create just little leaf shapes. You might want to stick one in where the flowers are. They all come back to that central stem. You can grab a bit of brown, and then you can drop it into that green stem. Once your first layer of paint has completely dried, you can then go on to add a second layer of just a little bit deeper, darker values, and this will help enhance your watercolor florals. So I'm just using a bit of a darker mixture of my blue and my purple, and I'm just dabbing in a few little petals here and there. The key is not to do this everywhere. You don't want to add too much detail. You just want the first layer of your floral to breathe through. And now I'm going to move on to some of the leaves, and I'll just be adding in a few touches of darker green in just a few areas. This helps provide some dimension while still keeping it rather loose and playful. And remember, if one area gets a bit too dark, you can just soften it up a bit with a thirsty brush. And here's the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this mini tutorial. For more watercolor tutorials and videos, be sure to subscribe to my blog, katrinapete.com. And I love to see your work, so please share your paintings with me either on Instagram or wherever you like. I love seeing what you paint.